Hi there, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Jaki Sabourin here. And today I wanted to hold a live broadcast because I haven't been doing live videos on my YouTube channel. So I decided that I wanted to connect with you more, get to know you, offer you some support, and answer questions. So today I want to talk about dating with low self-worth. And this conversation was inspired by one of your comments posted in the comment box below. So by all means, if you have a comment or a suggestion for a video, if you would please post in the comment section below, or even you can post in this thread here. I really do read all my comments and I take them to heart, and I like to create topics based on your feedback because then they're more relevant, right? And so first of all, I want to welcome those of you who are attending live and those of you who are going to watch the replay. Welcome. And listen, isn't it exciting right now where the mask mandate's been removed? I know it's different per state, but pretty soon we're going to be able to make eye contact and meet up with people in real life, especially those of you dating, and it's going to get really interesting this summer. And so I think it's going to be really fun to see everything that unfolds. But so in that being said, I think talking about dating with low self-worth is really going to be a great topic to give you that support. And so let's start off with what is self-worth? What does that really mean? And so the way I look at it is it's your self-evaluation, right? It's basically, it comes from your inner critic. When you're feeling lack of confidence, feeling like you're going to be rejected, feeling inadequate, you're judging yourself, you don't have confidence. These are all the things that are going on between your two ears, right? And so that's what we want to take a look at. And a lot of it we pick up from relationships that we struggle in, maybe divorce, relationships that don't work out the way we'd hope they would. Also, it's a series of choices that we make. So we make a series of choices in life and they don't result in the outcomes we want. Or maybe they're just not good choices because we're still learning through the law of cause and effect, and they ding us. And what I mean by that is that they lower our confidence in ourselves and our ability to trust ourselves and our ability to make good choices for ourselves. And so we start to doubt ourselves, and that affects our self-worth. Hi there, Clay. Welcome. Love the feedback from the guys. So thanks for being here. And so I think that low self-worth, and Clay, you might be able to want to add in on this. Thank you, Grace. Hi. I think it's very visible when you go on a date or if you talk to somebody on a video, how you feel about yourself. It's something that is tangible. You can actually see it in a person's posture. You can see it in the way that they don't really hold eye contact or they don't hold it consistently. And so it really shows up in so many ways than you think. And so you want to really take a look at it because it's definitely going to be a deterrent for you to attract the high quality men that you're all looking for. And it's also going to make dating hard. And it's also going to put a lot of stress on your relationships if you have a sense of low self-worth. And so let's talk a little bit about I want to give you some tools here, some tips. And so why do we get into this low self-worth? Well, the way I look at it is it's important to consider that some of the ways that we measure our self-worth are really unhealthy. So I want to share with you my 5 top unhealthy ways that a lot of people measure their self-worth, and then give you some ways and things that you can begin to measure your self-worth with. That's a mouthful, that are going to be more productive for your life. And so the first thing is our appearance. That's an external. All these things I'm going to share with you are external. And the reason why they're unhealthy is because those can fade. Things can change. Your appearance can change as you get older, or if you gain weight, etc., or if you lose weight for that matter, if you're struggled with an illness. Also, the next thing that is superficial but that can lower your self-worth is your net worth. So you can make a lot of money and you can lose a lot of money, and you can have gone through many cycles of that in a lifetime. And unfortunately, when our net worth is diminished, we equate that with our our self-worth. And so we start to feel bad about ourselves. That's why it's really unhealthy and not a good idea to base your self-esteem and self-worth on these 5 things. So the next one is who you know. So it's like name dropping, right? You're out and you're name dropping. That's actually a sign of low self-worth. You wouldn't think that to begin with. People are really intrigued, especially with all the social media now. They're intrigued about, people and certainly that's a great part of conversation or getting to know anybody. But when you're basing that on your value, like because these people, you're more valuable, that's a very dangerous game to play, because what if you lose your money? What if you don't know these people anymore and you get a divorce and you're not friends with them anymore, and your appearance changes, then your self-worth is going to plummet. The other one is what you do for a living. This especially affects women that go into retirement. They're like, I don't know what I do anymore. I don't know what to say about that, because they base their entire self-worth on what they did, their profession. So what you do is just something you do. It's not who you are. But a lot of people are very identified with their profession. And I remember being identified with being a wife. When I was married the first time around, I found my value and self-worth in being Mrs., right? And then when I got divorced, I had an identity crisis, because I'm like, oh my gosh, who am I? I'm a divorcee, and I just hated the sound of that, and I could not wrap my arms around it. It made me feel less than, because I had equated all of my self-worth externally. And so when those things were taken away or removed or lost, then I had this like, who am I crisis, where I didn't know what my value was. And so that showed up in how I was living my life and the choices I was making. And then the last one out of the 5 that are unhealthy ways to measure your self-worth is what you achieve. So your accomplishments. Now, I'm not saying that all of these things aren't great. Your appearance, your net worth, who you know, what you do, what you achieve. They're all wonderful things. Achieving, writing a book, building a home, the things that you achieve, your achievement. Those are wonderful milestones in life. And I'm not discounting them by any means. But when we stake our self-worth on those things that are external and can be taken away, then we fall prey to feeling very fragile, very vulnerable. We have no confidence, etc. All the things that I mentioned when I first started the video. We feel inadequate. We start to judge ourselves, and we mostly fear rejection. So when it comes to dating, I think the biggest fear that everybody has is fear of rejection. And so when we're anchored to these external support, when they're taken away, our self-esteem collapses, our self-worth, and then we really struggle to get it back. So what I want to do is give you some traits that you can start to focus on and really zone in on, that are going to give you that feeling of high self-worth, so that you can start bringing those to your dating experiences and your relationships, and really start to really know your value and know your worth. Because when you do that, there's nothing that you can't accomplish, and you become far more attractive than you could ever imagine, because that confidence comes from within. And so it affects the rest of your life, right? Not just the external events, but these are factors that you can control. It's because when you know who you are and you're pleased with the person that you've become, then you're going to send out a vibrational frequency of a sense of peace, a harmony throughout your life. And through all of your ups and downs, you're going to have that sense of harmony and peace. And that's something that somebody can really connect with. They can relate to. Also makes you more trustworthy when you use these traits I'm going to share with you to establish who you are. And so instead of chasing these temporary boosts of self-esteem, you measure yourself by who you are at your core. And this way, no matter what you go through, you don't have to worry about that fear of rejection or judgment, because you know that down deep, you know who you are. And that's something that you can lean into, especially when it comes to dating. And so let me go over some of these traits. I'm going to go over 7 of them really quick, and then I'm going to jump over and see if there's any questions and give you a little coaching. I also have some beauty tips I want to share with you. And so stick around to the end, because I'm going to share those at the end of the video. Now, the traits that I find are the 7 top traits I'm going to share with you are things that you really want to zone in. So, and these are the traits that authentic people um, have. And authenticity is a big buzzword of mine. If you watch my videos, I love talking about authenticity. And authenticity is the greatest dating strategy and relationship strategy that you could ever take because it connects. So, authentic people and these traits on to build your self-esteem, self-worth is don't seek external validation. Looking to others to tell you who you are is the fastest way not only to turn them off, but to lower your self-esteem. Your real validation and can only come from within, from you. Real validation. Yes, you can get external validation. You look great, Jackie. I like your hair, the top, blah, blah, blah. But that's fleeting, right? That's just in the moment. What's going to sustain me past that? So not seeking external validation, approving of myself. The second trait is you tell the truth, even though it may hurt. So this is going to really raise your sense of self-worth in dating because a lot of times women hold back. They don't speak their truth. And I'm not talking about being harsh. I'm just talking about knowing if you tell a man something, he may not ask you out again, but you have to be authentic. You have to speak the truth. Telling the truth is something that a lot of people have gotten away from, but I'm all about microscopic honesty. And people that tell the truth are more likely to be trusted by others. It's a credibility piece. And so a truth that you might tell on to somebody that you're seeing is if you have a STD. That would be a truth that you would need to share coming from a high place of self-esteem, even though you realize that that person may reject you because of it. But you have to tell it. And it's not defining you. It's just something that's happened. And that's how you make that distinction. And so I just kind of gave you not a worst case scenario, but a big truth that could result in a disconnect of the person you're seeing. So the next trait is they're emotionally agile. So what do I mean by that? Emotionally agile. What I mean is that you are emotionally intelligent. You are responsible for your own emotional needs. You're not overly needy. You're not expecting others to manage. Just like I've heard men say, oh, she was a lot to manage. It's like, it's not a man's job to manage your emotion. That's our job. It's an inside job. So you're able to pay attention to your inner urgings. You're able to decipher what they mean. You spend a good amount of time being intimate with yourself. So you are showing up more emotionally available and emotionally intelligent, which is emotionally agile. And so the next trait is you observe and correct your behaviors quickly. I just love this one so much. This is one that we can all use more and more and more. Observe and correct. So what does that mean exactly? As soon as you make a mistake, a so-called mistake, because they're just lessons in life, you notice it, you correct it, and you move on. You don't allow it to drain you. You don't sit there and overly think about it, obsess on it, talk to your friends, run it by everybody. You just actually go, okay, I didn't like that I did that, so I'm not going to do that again. So you observe and correct it so it doesn't drain your energy. So that's a really great tool, especially in dating, because we tend to beat ourselves up. We have this inner critic that's constantly feeding negativity, and we just have to stop that. And it's so disempowering. So observe and correct your so-called mistakes as soon as humanly possible. The next trait is you're open to learning from your mistakes. So they're not really mistakes, they're lessons if you are willing to learn from them. Having too much to drink on a date, learn from that lesson and just don't do it again, right? Maybe you wore, you had a wardrobe malfunction, or maybe you were talking too loud and you're pushing people, or whatever it is, little things. We're so overly critical of ourselves, but learning from your mistakes. You date men that have children that are younger than that's optimal for you. And you realize after you get into a relationship, you don't really want to co-parent a younger child. That could be a mistake, but it also could be a lesson not to do it again. Not sharing something with your relationship, your partner, about how you're feeling. And so that could be a huge mistake if you're in a relationship. It's so important when you're in a relationship to share with your partner how you're feeling. When you don't, that's called you're creating a lot of distance, and you're not being authentic and honest, and that's going to create a lack of intimacy and trust in the relationship. And so there's two more, and then I'm going to move on to questions. So emotionally independent. So you're responsible. It kind of goes along with the emotional agile. You're coping through your triggers. You're responsible for your triggers. You're not blaming others when things go wrong. You're meeting your own emotional needs from within. Your nurturing, your self-acceptance, your self-love, and your boundaries. Those are your emotional dependency needs that you need to meet from within so that you feel whole and healthy. And that's a safe place for you to go into the dating platform when you're meeting those needs, because those needs are going to constantly need to be met if you're putting yourself out there, right? And the last one is you laugh at yourself. So these are all traits that will increase your sense of self-worth, and it'll make dating much easier for you when you're consistently focusing on these 7 traits. Laughing at yourself is so important. I do it a lot because there's some things that I do that, I crack myself up or make mistakes, but instead of feeling embarrassed, which is a lack of self-acceptance, by the way, I just go, oh, well, it is what it is. And I'm not perfect, and I'm not trying to be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfection. That's an unrealistic expectation that you might be setting yourself up for a massive disappointment. The very thing that makes us unique and authentic is our little imperfections. So embrace them, wrap your arms around them, because that's what makes you unique and attractive to other people. And so let me check out what we've got. If we've got some comments, then I'll share with you my beauty tips. Again, thank you for joining me for my first live broadcast in quite a while. And let's see. Haven't dated after narcissistic abuse. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. So strong boundaries when it comes to dealing with that kind of situation, right? We have to have real clear boundaries. We have to use our voice and vote with our feet when that's not respected. And so if you can pop your questions in the chat, I'd be happy to give you a little coaching here. We're going to go to 20 minutes. Got a couple more minutes. I'm dating a wonderful man for 1.5 years. He's constantly giving, and we have plans through 2022. Congratulations, and season tickets plans. Yay. I'm ready for marriage, and he says he is not and may never be. What to do? Did you ask him why? Why, if he could share with you his process. Why is he not ready? You really need to know that. And a lot of the reason why men don't share that is because they think that you're going to leave, and they're perfectly happy with the way things are right now. So what you might want to preface it with is, you shared with me in the past when you're having an intimate moment that you don't know if you'll ever get married. And I never really asked you about what your thought process was. That I really want to understand and respect you, your desires and feelings, but I also need to understand them. Sweetie, would you please share with me why that is, why you feel so strongly about not getting married again someday? I really need to understand it. And so ask him to have a dialogue with you about it, and make sure you remain calm and don't interrupt him, because if he gets defensive at all, he will shut down and he won't tell you the real reason. It might be because he was wounded before. It might be because he lost a lot of money. We don't know, but we want to know. And the only way you're going to get him to open up is to create a safe space for him to come in and share with you. And that comes from not interrupting, being very quiet, thanking him for opening up, thanking him for sharing the information, not judging it, telling him you're going to get back to you with some of your comments after you've had a chance to think about it. And then start that dialogue. Once you've established that it's safe to share with you, he will be more apt to share more and more. And who knows, he may have a change of heart. I can't say that's guaranteed. I like to say that if man tells you something, believe him. So you're going to have to decide at some point whether or not you want to move on and find somebody that does want a marriage. But first, I would definitely explore using your voice more and getting more information about, what made him draw this conclusion. Yeah, it's fear-based. Yeah. Typically it is fear-based, right? I'm afraid of fill in the blanks. Ask him what he's afraid of. Fear of getting hurt, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of losing money, fear, just find out what the fears are. They're usually false evidence appearing real. They're based on your history, not on what's going on in the moment. And people continue to pull their history into their present, and it contaminates it, just like it's happening with you, right? He's projecting his history onto your relationship, and that probably doesn't feel good. And so you want to try to enlighten him about that. Let him know that you think that that's what's going on, and ask him to work on clearing up some of those past painful experiences so that he can be completely present to you and the relationship that he has now with you. Moving on to the next question. I'm dating a man 9 years younger than me. Good for you. I think that's awesome. I'm 45. He says he really likes me. I hope I can trust him. He seems really open and loving. Introduced me to his 15-year-old son the first day I met. So what I would say is, because you're feeling a little insecure, but things are great, is you have to trust yourself. Don't worry so much about trusting a man. All of you watching, trust you. When you feel something's off, ask questions. Don't ignore your intuitive urgings. That's the biggest thing, is that we don't trust ourselves. We see something, and because we don't want to rock the boat, we don't say something about whatever we're feeling or seeing, and then we don't trust ourselves, and then later we find out whatever we thought was happening. So stay tuned into you, and you will know how tuned in to him you are through your own intuition. And so just keep that finger on your own pulse, and that will tell you. That's your guidance system, by the way. That's going to tell you how things are really going according to you, right? And you'll notice things more and more when you trust yourself more and more. Next question, at what date number to tell a guy you are dating to lead to marriage? Is first chat in profile, third date? Thanks. You're welcome, Carolyn. So what I would do is I'd have it on my profile, said long-term committed relationship, LTR. I wouldn't put marriage, because I just think that's can be a little too overwhelming for a man to say marriage. So long-term committed relationship. Then when you talk to them on the phone, it's like, so what are you looking for? Are you dating for more long-term? Are you looking just to have fun in the moment? And then open a dialogue, have a conversation about it. Because usually in the very first date or on the first phone call, they're going to tell you everything. They're going to tell you the truth, because there's nothing invested. That's why it's important to ask it right up front. And if you're feeling like the conversation is deepening, you can say, do you think you'll ever get married again? You can throw that out there, but I would just stick to long-term committed relationship initially, and then go out on a date with him, and then look at his history, his relationship history. It'll tell you more about what he might do going forward based on, my husband was married 25 years before he married me. And that was a lot. That's a big relationship history. All of his friends were in relationships. He had a lot of couple friends, and all of his siblings were married. So I figured he's probably going to get married again, since everybody surrounds himself is coupled up. That now, there was no guarantee, but I did look at that and put that together. Yes. Good, Victoria. Great. So we're over time. So I'm going to quickly share my beauty secrets. Before I do, I want to tell you that I am hosting a 4-hour workshop tomorrow. We're talking about starting off with the vibration we're sending out, the law of vibration, going into how to change the inner dialogue critic that's going through your mind, your mind, and how it's being projected out, causing that low self-worth dating. Then we're going to talk about authenticity in relationships. My coach Wendy's going to be one of my guest speakers, and my husband Michael, and he's going to talk about things that turn men on and off and answer questions. It's going to be a whole 4 hours of Q&A, back and forth, and you're invited to join. If you want to attend the workshop, you have to be a member of my inner circle. And I have an offer right now where you can join as a trial member to see if that's something you'd like to pass the 2 weeks that I offer the trial. So check out the link in the box, see if that's a fit for you. You can check in to the inner circle and attend our workshop and our program for the next 2 weeks and see if that's something that you want to utilize this summer, because I know it's going to be a hot summer of love for dating after everything's opening up. Now, really quick, I'm going to talk to you about the products. So today I didn't want, because of all the isolation and all the masks and not being able to wear really makeup or lipstick, I decided to just wear very simple makeup, because that's what I've been wearing mostly over the smoky eye that I typically like to use. So basically I found this great product. I really love it. Now, because I'm older, I have, I'm using more of the eyeshadow that's more of a cream, because it doesn't crease. And MAC just came out with a very neutral color long wear. It's called Paint Pot. And what it is, it's just a very neutral color. And I just use this all over my eyelids, so it kind of covers up any imperfections, all those little veins, and just gives me a smooth look, and it doesn't crease. I love this stuff. Super easy. And then I couple it. I'm going to put all these links in the comment box. And what I use is, I like this. This is called Teddy. This is the eyeliner I use, the MAC eyeliner. I love Teddy. I've got brown eyes, and I've been using Teddy for like 20 years. I'm just kind of hooked on it. I decided not to go back with the real eyelash extension, so I like experimenting with different, the glue-on eyelashes, and these are really fun. So I'm wearing MAC eyelashes, and this is number 36. And I just think these are pretty fab. They're super easy to put on. My hot tip for putting on these eyelashes is I put a little dot of glue on my counter, and then I run each eyelash through it. Sorry, guys, if you're still watching, this is TMI for you. I set them down, put glue on both of them. And while the first one's drying, I pick up the one I put glue on first. That one's somewhat dried, so it's tacky. And then I put them on. Then I put the second one on, and they just pop right on. And then they come right off. So that's my eyelashes. Now, I love this brow pencil because it goes on really easy. And it's also a animal and environment-free, tested product. It's called Honest Beauty. It's eyebrow pencil, and this is taupe. And I just really like it. It's like I said, it goes on really smooth, and it doesn't, you don't have to keep dragging it across your eyelid. And then I'm just wearing a little lip color, Laura Mercier. It's just a little pink. I just popped this on, and then I added some gloss. And that's it. Super simple. For blush, I've got a Chanel color. And what is it? What color is this? I don't know what the color is, but in the comment section I will. And I just popped on a little blush with the brush. That was it. It literally took me about 10 minutes, and that's it. And I don't do a lot of foundation. I actually don't do any. I do a tinted sunscreen because I'm just not into all that matting on my face. And so if you're doing video dates still, I want you to use a good light. That's what it's all about. That's the secret sauce right there, is the lighting, not necessarily the makeup. But I hope these tips help you. Check out that link. Join me for my workshop in the next 2 weeks in the inner circle. You can get coaching and get to know me and my coaches, and join us this summer so that you have all the support you need to call in the man of your dreams and live the life and love that you deserve and desire. Okay, ladies, I am going to be here every Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific, right here on YouTube. Bring your questions, suggest any topics for videos in the comment section, and we're just going to do this every week until I say we're not. All right. Thanks for being back, supporting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you get the notifications, and give me a like if you like the content. Thank you for being here. Sending you all a lot of love. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye-bye.